the Utah Jazz. The winner of that round will play them. So, Mark, what are your expectations for this final playing game?
You know, I watched their game the other day. I think the Warriors, they have this champion experience. I've seen them play with their backs against the wall over the years. Obviously, Clay's not there, but they're at home. They've been there, done that. They're not going to be fearful of that. I wonder how Memphis is in this moment, playing against Steph and Golden State. I like the Warriors. I like them to handle Memphis. But the one thing that Memphis can do that they stopped doing in the previous loss is they got to go to Valanciunas all day, feed them, let them get a double-double, 20-15 game. And if they could not try to match buckets with Curry and force feed Valanciunas, I think they'll make it really scary for the Warriors.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm going to get my film out and I'm going to play the first 5 minutes of that third quarter from last night over and over and over and over again. So Steph Curry and Draymond, the two guys that you need to be at their very best, can see the lackadaisical turnovers that they cost and what it costs their team. You do that, you get that right. I do like the Warriors. Ja Morant, to me, is a wonderful player. We know he's going to be around for a long time. I do think he's been pressing a little bit. I thought he pressed a little bit in their game the other day. But they have a lot of great young talent. Maybe they've got their nerves out of the way. It'll be a really great game. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, they're not afraid for sure, the Grizzlies. They have been fun to watch, too. But I do like the Warriors just on experience. All right, coming up next, what's your pick for Dunk of the Year? Well, we'll run it back.
Right to face the Suns. Coverage starting with Stephen A. Sports Center at 7 o'clock Eastern. So, guys, Steve Kerr said whenever teams throw defenders at Steph, Draymond Green is the one who always has an answer. Now, as the questions continue to build, leading to tonight's star-studded showdown, I sat down with Draymond, searching for some more answers.
The Golden State Warriors, they're a threat. They're a threat even to LeBron and Anthony Davis.
They got championship DNA as well.
Now we're hunting again.
Lakers, Warriors, how much juice is there in this matchup for you? Because this is for the playoffs.
I'm excited as hell. I think, playing against the Lakers, defending champion, with an opportunity to solidify our spot in the playoffs. The stage doesn't get any bigger in LA. I've been very vocal about the play-in tournament, but this is great. I'm excited about this. This is a great opportunity for us.
You, LeBron, Anthony Davis, you're all pretty tight off the court. So I want to know, has there been any extracurricular text trash talking? Is there a bottle of wine on the line here with this game? What's the stakes here?
There hasn't been any extracurricular trash talking there. But one thing you do know, that's one of those unspoken things. Next time we're together, the losers definitely picking up that tab, and providing a vino. That's just that goes without saying. Everyone always saying, oh man, why are they friends? That sucks. That's what makes it fun for us. To be able to go out there and destroy your friend, destroy your brother. When you go in there, they're trying to take your head off. When they come in our lane, we're trying to take their heads off, and that's what it boils down to.
Steph Curry off the nice dime by Draymond Green.
They are so in sync, it's almost frightening.
The relationship you and Steph have, at this point, it's kind of like its own superpower. I sat down with Steph not too long ago, and he told me that after you guys pull off one of those kinds of plays and you look at each other and you smile that smile we've all seen before, he said the mental exchange is that you guys both know that you have just gotten one over on someone. That is how he phrased it. Does it feel that way to you?
100%. Because the reality is everyone's defense is built to take that connection away when they're playing against us, and so we have to get creative. That's just the reality. And then you kind of pull the wool over their head one time and get exactly what we're trying to get. Like that, it feels special and it's hilarious because you know what they're thinking. It's just kind of that look like we got them.
I know that Steph has been the most valuable player on your team for a long time, so that role is nothing new, but I'm not sure there's ever been more weight on him that really just as he goes, the whole team goes.
I think it's been very motivating for him. I think it's been very uplifting for him. Like you said, he's definitely the most valuable player on this team, also the most valuable player in this league. you know, with the way he's played. And this same exact team won 15 games a year ago. You know, here we are, 39 and 33, with a chance to be the 7th seed. You know, he's for sure the most valuable player in this league. And, you know, he's had the better year of any one particular player in this league this year. So, MVP for sure.
You have been elite defensively again this year, and you're about to face a familiar foe. I don't know if you know this about you and Anthony Davis, but over the past 8 years, no one has been the closest defender on AD more than you. And then on the flip side, he's the guy you've defended most over that span, with James Harden and LeBron coming in after that. So who does that familiarity give a bigger advantage to, you or him?
I think for both of us it's great. You know, I know what he's trying to get to, and he know how I defend. You know, and he knows what, you know, the things that I'm going to do. And so then what it boils down to is it boils down to heart. It boils down to who wanted more. It boils down to who can outthink the next guy on that particular play. Who's going to take it on the chest and defend without fouling? You know, all of these things, that's what it ends up boiling down to. But the one thing that's for certain is there will be no surprises.
Well, if you win this game, you will go into the bracket as the number 7 seed, but you don't feel like a number 7 seed, not with the way you guys have been playing lately, how hot Steph has been. How would you describe what kind of team you are going into the playoff bracket?
I think we're coming together and gelling at the right time. And so, you know, 7 seed, 8 seed, 1 seed, 2 seed, when you get into the playoffs, none of that matters. It's about, you know, who's going to execute the game plan, who's going to be tough, you know, come up with the 50-50 balls. I feel extremely comfortable with where we are in those things and how we've been playing, and that we're going to bring that to the table, you know, in this game against the Lakers and moving forward past that as well.
Are you guys a threat to win the title this year?
Anytime you got Steph Curry on that floor, you give yourself a chance. And, you know, I'm always going to go out there and do what I do. Steph's going to do what he do. You know, as the leaders of this team, we make sure all our guys are ready to go. And you swing. You know, we got a bunch of free swings. Go out there, play loose, see what we can do. But I have no doubt that we can be right there with anybody.
Bunch.
The Golden State Warriors will host the Memphis Grizzlies tonight, where the winner will take the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Steph Curry's been on a tear this season and is officially an MVP finalist, but he even can't do this alone. Even he can't do this alone, rather. Stephen A., who needs to step up and help Steph tonight?
I'm going to say it's Andrew Wiggins, and I'm going to base that, Max, purely off of what I saw the other night against the Los Angeles Lakers. We all know that I've been on the record stating that I wouldn't give him away for a box of cookies. That's how I felt about Andrew Wiggins, because to me it wasn't about his talent. He could always play. It was the want-it factor that was so glaringly missing time and time again. He'd have a big game and then he'd disappear for 5 or 10 games. You know, or he had some of the most, what I consider some of the most meaningless 18-point per games that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you know, he'd finish a game with 18 to 20 points and you barely noticed it, for crying out loud, because it never really came when it really, really mattered. That was not the case the other night. The other night I watched this guy show up on the court and defend LeBron James a lot and was all in him. And I give him a lot of credit for that. Plus, he put up 21 points. Plus, he shot decently enough from the field. And I look at him, his size, his athleticism, he could do some things. Andrew Wiggins, if he really, really committed himself, I think he can average 25 a game and be a secondary offensive option. I'm saying for the purposes of tonight, that's exactly what he needs to do for one more night. He needs to go out there and put up 20 plus. He needs to help defend, whether it's Ja Morant or Dylan or anybody else. I think that's what he needs to do. And I think I'm going to give him a shot at doing it. I believe he is going to do it, and he is going to help Golden State win tonight's game, because it's going to be real tough to beat Memphis.
The answer is Draymond Green. I know why you say Wiggins, because when we say help Steph, what are we really talking about? Like, our minds immediately go to offense. But even as you pointed out, Draymond's going to have to score. He's even there. He's going to have to contribute there in some kind of way. But defensively, he was so good. in the first play-in. Stephen A., just like the Lakers' size that you referred to in our last segment, was obvious, right? The Lakers' size kept them in the game when they weren't executing on offense, and Golden State was. And what counteracted the Lakers' size, I think more than anything on the Golden State defensive side of things, was Draymond Green. He is like, I keep saying like Ben Simmons is the best defensive player in the world, and I believe that. And then I think about Gobert and Embiid, and too often I leave Draymond off that because he's not so young anymore, but he is definitely deserving of that kind of consideration. And he's going to have to do that because Stephen A., in the play-in game, Grizzlies-Spurs, who was the most important offensive piece on the Grizzlies?
Ja Morant.
What's that?
What are you talking about? Who's the most important offensive?
No, Ja Morant was not the most important offensive piece on the Grizzlies. The center was the most important.
Well, Valanciunas, he had 23 and 23. I get that.
Valanciunas was a load down low.
Right.
And Draymond is going to have to do a job on him, or they're not going to win. Like, Draymond's defense is going to be key in this game. And when I think of overall team-wise, who needs to be Steph's main support, it's Draymond's defense, and as you pointed out yesterday, he got to chip in a little bit offensively, too. It can't be no points.
Well, listen, Kevin Looney and others, they got to do something to help him. Valanciunas is a big, big boy. That's a lot to ask of Draymond Green. I mean, when I think about Valanciunas, other than the fact that he looks like he and Travis Kelce damn near look like twins, for crying out loud. Other than that, when I look at Valanciunas, the one thing I think about is Tyson Fury. Just a big tub of lard just leaning on you, and he can play and move and all of that stuff. I'm not saying it insultingly. I'm very complimentary of Valanciunas. I like him a lot.
He's just a load.
But he's a load. But I will tell you this. Here's the one thing I do want to say about Draymond Green, because I love the brother. You cannot go scoreless. And I've said this before. You cannot go scoreless like he did the other night. And this is the thing. As we watch him with this three-point shooting, Max, because they leave him open now, over the last several years, 3 years and counting, he's at 28, 27.9, and this year at 27%. He's teammates with two of the greatest shooters that has ever played this game.
Yeah.
And I'm going like this. Look, man, you got everything else. You defend. You're smart as a whip. His basketball IQ is off the charts. He's an elite defender. He's a great point forward, a great assist provider. His chemistry with Steph Curry is spectacular to see. All of those things are true. But you got to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they got to get Dre on the court and help him make some of those threes, man. They got to work with him. Because let me tell you something. Next year, they going to the conference finals. And God help the basketball world. I don't give a damn if you got Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. God help the basketball world if Draymond Green gets a jump shot.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
If he gets any kind of jump shot with Klay and Steph.
What masked Draymond's decline as a shooter was Kevin Durant's presence, because you didn't really need it anymore. But people forget, you're right, the original 5-out death squad was Draymond at the 5, who was shooting and hitting threes at a real good clip. I think it was at like 38% that year because of the spacing Steph and Klay gave.
2015, 2016, 38.8%.
38, and then maybe it was 33, but it was still respectable. That's what made it the death lineup. That's why you could play legit 5-out, right? And then Dre can also make decisions with the ball and get you into the offense, and Steph can play off all those things. Mm-hmm. That has not been the same Draymond Green from the outside, and as a result, Kevin Durant masked that, because when Durant's on the floor, it doesn't really matter. But now it matters more. About this, we're on the same page. He can't wind up with 0 points. He's going to have to be Steph's main support, certainly on defense, and is going to have to contribute something offensively.
10 to 12 points. 10 to 12 points. Draymond Green, that's what he should be averaging. He should be averaging 10 to 12 points a game.
Yeah, there's no debate there. I mean, whether it's 8 or 10 or 12, he's got to do something. He can't be scoreless. Right. They're not going to win.
So we need to see Wiggins and Draymond step up. Guys, we'll leave it there. When we come back, they say CP3 can